Hi, everyone. It's Michelle from Studio City Now. And today my guest is Rand Selig. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, it does. Some of the family members say Selig, and I tend to say Selig, like S-A-Y, but that's hard because then people want to misspell my name.
And we were talking earlier, and this is going to be fun. So, Rand is the author of the book Thriving, and you've done other books too.
Well, actually, this is my first full book, Michelle. I've been writing, of course, as part of my career for, forever. But this is the first published book, and wow, what an adventure. And I just got to encourage people, if you are thinking about a book, uh, get on with it. It's a very cool thing, especially if you've got some good people assisting you and you know why you're writing the book. That'll give you energy.
Well, I did download, I guess it was chapter one,
Uh huh. Yeah.
and it was just so encouraging and uplifting. And I
Thank
thought,
you.
this is cool. It
Thank you.
reminds me of what I said before we started, which was be the reason someone smiles.
Yeah. Well, Mother Teresa says the smile is the beginning of love.
Really?
And when I first read that, I've always thought Mother Teresa's just an amazing person, doing what she's done. And actually, a friend of ours wrote the big biography of Mother Teresa, Anne Seba. Anne's great.
Oh, wow.
Um, but when I first read that quote attributed to Mother Teresa, I said, "Oh my gosh, she really onto something important." Because when you do smile, it's a genuine smile. It's not like a fakeo smile.
Yeah.
I think it is love. I do believe it is. It's the beginning of love. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it when you walk into a room to see someone and their whole face lights up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's part of your inspiration to write the book, I'm sure. But reading your bio, which I can barely read right now because it's dark, like you have been like everywhere. You've got you worked in Europe and Asia, the Caribbean. What part of the Caribbean?
Yeah, I was asked by the Nature Conservancy to help them. They just received a contract from the government of Jamaica
Oh,
to create two national parks. And they quickly realized that as much as the Nature Conservancy knows a lot about managing property, I mean, they're one of the biggest property owners in the United States, they
hmm,
knew that this would be an impossible task if they didn't start get some help from somebody like me to help create some businesses, because there are a lot of people in the two areas, the Blue Mountain area and the Montego Bay area, where people were doing destructive things for the environment, and they couldn't outranger that. They needed businesses, alternatives to get people doing different things. And they said, well, that's not our business, but oh, let's ask Rand if he wants to do it. So I did. In 1990, I took my family. We spent 4 months there. It was an amazing thing. I've also did another project down in Akumal, which is just south of Cancun, a
oh,
reef conservation project, and
hmm.
I and my wife and kids became scuba certified for that project. So these are, things we've done that are just part of, trying to make the world a bit better and, loving Mother Nature.
You must know my neighbor. I know you do. Ed Begley.
Of course. Oh yeah, yeah. He's right here in the neighborhood. Great guy.
I live like a couple hundred feet from him.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I've known
Bagley.
Ed forever.
Good, good fellow. Very good fellow. I
Yeah,
think big heart. Yeah.
yeah, and just nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very, very cool. Actually, he's asked me, "You recycle, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Ah, very
Recycle
good.
plastic.
Yeah, yeah.
You've
Um,
also been, what, to Asia and
yeah.
Europe?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Right after I got married, my wife and I moved off to Tokyo. We were asked by the chairman of my company to for me to move there and run the Asian investment banking business, and that went from Korea all the way down to Australia. And so, and my boss was in New York, and I was on the board in London. So, and my wife could go with me once a year for the round the world. You go from Tokyo to New York, you're really basically going around the world. And it was 3 years. It was basically an extended honeymoon for us. And did a lot of traveling because we had heard early on when we moved to Tokyo. We'd asked some people who had just moved to Tokyo from Sydney, and we said, "Oh, we want to go to Australia. Where should we go?" They said, "We don't know," because we thought we kept putting it off. We'll do it. We'll do it next year, or in the summer or something. And then they got transferred. And they had to move right away. They didn't see anything. And my wife and I looked at each other and we said, "That's not going to be us." So we did a huge amount of traveling, and of course, I was doing traveling on business. But then she would join me, on a Thursday night, and we
Mhm.
spend the weekend. And Asia's a big place, very big place, and lots of different things going on, different uh, culture, languages, food,
Mhm.
and it was a really fantastic time for us to start what's now 44 years of marriage.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
That is amazing.
It's almost shocking.
In
Yeah.
California? Yeah.
Well, that's right, and I've been on close to 100 podcasts now, and that comes up from time to time because it's part of my bio. And people say, "What's going on? Tell us what are some of the things that have happened for you, and you would recommend for other people?" I say, I can talk about that. I can summarize that very quickly.
Mhm.
And should I talk about that for a minute, Michelle?
Please.
Yeah, so I say four things. One, you really have to trust the other person. You
Mhm.
can't be hiding some money. You can't, you know, be doing something on the side they don't know about. That's just a recipe for a disaster because there's a very big chance they'll know, and certainly you know.
Mhm.
Second thing is, over a long period of time, you change, right? So, a lot of couples just move apart. I think that's somewhat natural. People don't age the same way, but what we've done is we've continued to invest in each other. We keep on saying, "Okay, how about let's do this together?" So
Nice.
that's been good. A third thing is that we have separate lives also. So we have friends in common, we do things in common, but I have my own friends. She knows who they are. And I say, "Hey, Carol, would you like to, come to lunch with me and Lionel?" And she says, "You know what? I think you'll have a nice time with Lionel by yourself." And I say, "Okay, no problem." And same with her. So I think that's separateness. She's an artist. I do my book, my speaking and writing things and so on, and we're very supportive and interested in each other, but separate also. And then the fourth is the obvious thing about communication. You just got to clean up stuff. You can't say, I know something's going on. I guess I'll just let it happen. You got to say, hey, you got to pick the right time. You got to have the good energy. You got to check in. Is this a good time to talk? The answer may be no, not now. But say,
Mhm.
okay, well, when's the right time? I do want to talk to you about, maybe lay it out, just a quick, few words, and clean up that stuff. And I've also done a lot of reading about relationships, and the great John Gottman. Oh my gosh, super duper guy, and his wife written some amazing, very helpful books.
Yeah, I've worked in family law for years,
Mm.
And some of the stories I have heard are just, well, soap opera-ish.
Yeah, yeah,
And people don't even try anymore.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think one of the things I've observed, I mean, obviously at this point, I know a lot of people who are divorced, maybe a second marriage, maybe a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever they have. But the whole issue of looking to the partner and working with the partner, maybe with some help, as opposed to going to your friends and
Mhm.
saying, do you know what just happened? I can't believe what a crummy person I'm with. That doesn't help. That does not
Yeah.
help. Yeah. You don't want that kind of support. You need the kind of support. Tell me about it. I'm willing to listen. Um, if that's what you want me to listen, I'm willing to do that. If you want advice, I may have some. If you want just a hug, let me know.
Yeah. One of the issues I've seen, um, one partner tries to isolate the other from
Mm.
friends and family.
Oh, wow. Yes. Yes.
I've seen that. I've read about it. It's big in psychology classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very controlling.
Controlling. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad 44 years.
44 years. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, it's all. I feel very fortunate. So I say I've made four amazing decisions in my life, amongst countless number of good decisions. But number one was marrying my wife.
Mhm.
And number two is moving to the great city of Mill Valley, and just 20 minutes north of San Francisco. A third was starting my own firm after a dozen years on Wall Street. Had to really get ready for that, but I knew what I was doing, and I had the support of my wife. And then the fourth was writing my book, Thriving, and getting out and talking and talking and talking about it, and meeting people, engaging people, and trying to be inspirational and encouraging. The possibility of getting on the path to thriving is something that's a lot more within reach than a lot of people realize.
Yeah, people I have found, including myself, afraid to take that step, and you've done it. Now, you said you were an investment banker?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I still run my firm, so boy, it's a lot of time. My own firm over 3 decades, and in fact, I'm very pleased to say that my firm was named the best sustainable investment banking firm in San Francisco Bay Area last year by Wealth and Finance International, which is a really nice feather in our caps. We've worked hard. We've been very, very dedicated to our clients,
Mhm.
our approach to handling major transactions. So we're on the transaction side. The merger and acquisitions is the main thing we do, as opposed to investing money and you know
Mhm.
portfolio management kinds of things. And yeah, no, it's been really great. I've been able to hone my skills, my relationship skills, which has been really good, because bringing out the best in another person is something that is such a great thing to do.
Yeah. So the name of your firm is?
Oh, the Selig Capital Group.
Okay.
Yeah,
So from investment banking, we
yeah,
were talking about environmental. I'm
yeah.
sure there were things in between.
Well, what I decided when I started my firm is that I wanted to create the firm based on my values. So
Mhm.
that include, and I wrote it out. I wrote out a series of principles. One, I'd only work with clients that I could communicate well with and who had values. I wanted to support them as people and their company. So if what they were about was just money, or if their company was doing something I didn't think was really a very good idea for the planet, I would say I'm not the person for you. I'll try to find somebody else who can work with you.
Mhm.
So very selective in that way, and that's been very, never had to worry about business. People saw instantly there's a lot of integrity here, and starting off and wanting to work with somebody and having a mutual sense of that is just marvelous. Makes the hard part a lot easier. So, but when I started the firm, I said, look, I want to be able to work and live in the same town. I don't want to have a big commute because I saw how hard that was on people. And so I just took a downstairs, it was an art studio down below our house, and I converted that into my office. And I hardly ever have people come to my office. I'm usually going to them. So that was never a real big issue. But it allowed me then to be home most nights with my kids, reading when they were young, having dinner together with them all the way until they went off to college. Really, a sort of a sturdiness, a stableness in the whole family framework. That was a choice, and it also gave me a chance to be involved in their schools and site council. I was a little league coach. I was a scoutmaster. All these things were part of sort of a portfolio of things. I said, this is who I am, and I will be working, but because I own the company, I run the company, I can decide how hard I'm working. I can decide whether I want to have 4 clients at a time, or 2 or 5, no more than 5, because I can't do a good job after that. And that has just been a marvelous thing. And it was the first step, actually, in a whole process, Michelle, of me designing my own life. It's a big part of how I'm thinking about life and what I'm talking to people about. It's a big part of this whole notion of thriving, is that we can uh, design our own lives. We don't have to just be on the conveyor belt. We don't have to do it because somebody down the street did it. And I joke because I'm a published author. We can be the author of our own story, which
Mhm.
means that we can, change our story. We can delete things, we can edit things, and we can create future scenarios for ourselves. It's a very powerful thing.
Yeah, and I feel, you said you're home at night for dinner.
Yeah.
That also kept your marriage going.
Oh, so totally right. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, it made a big difference. And what I've seen when I was a little league coach and a scoutmaster, that there were a lot of really terrific young people whose parents were struggling in one way or another. In fact, in some cases, there was only one parent, and this idea of uh, having the kids see the parents. And it doesn't mean the parents are always lovey dovey and agreeing, but they see the parents working together. And I look at these kids with one parent and I go, I am amazed. I could not have done it. My wife could not have done it and raised our kids the way we did
Mhm.
by ourselves. And so I'm very amazed and impressed by the people who do manage to navigate through somehow, I don't know how, by themselves. It's very hard.
It's not easy. I was a single parent,
Yeah,
and, oh my gosh, was it 20 years? Yeah, 20 years ago,
yeah,
uh, my nephew would come over every night for dinner,
yeah.
and my cousin was living with me also
Mm,
in all of this.
yeah, yeah,
And the 3 of us would have dinner together, and my nephew was actually surprised because I made dinner. I made, like, pot roast or,
yeah,
the dinners I remembered
yeah.
because I just felt it was important to at
Right.
least give him some type of security.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, my brother-in-law told me many years ago. He says, whenever I have a chance to visit a friend and stay with them in their house, I always do it. Yeah, I could go to the hotel or whatever, but I like staying with them because it's that 5 minutes of really juicy stuff. You don't know when it's going to come. So if you're staying with them overnight, then you have a much greater chance of having that 5 minutes just you know arrive, and you can really make the most of it and build the relationship from there.
Mhm. Or you get great gossip.
That too.
True, so you went from banking, which you still do, I guess,
Yeah,
environmental scoutmaster, oh my gosh,
yeah,
and, I downloaded this, but it's kinda dark in this room.
yeah.
Philanthropic contributions, helping others, and
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I like to think, where does people ask me, well, how did you get to be who you are? This is you've traveled, you've been of such service, and you've had all these different roles and responsibilities. You seem to be a very happy person. You make other people happy. What's the deal? And I go, well, there's a lot of ways to start this story, but the one I like to start with is I picked my parents well.
Oh,
And and that's a little bit of a joke, of course, by itself. But I pat my right leg and I say, I'm standing on a firm foundation because of my parents. And I pat my right leg and I say, Dad, it was all about discipline. Dad was all about a moral compass. And I pat my left leg and I say, and Mom was a curious person. She was a scientist. She loved nature. She loved reading. And then I circle my tummy and I say, and they were both all about service. And then I raise my hands above and I say, and I built the rest on that firm foundation. And I think there's a huge amount of truth to this whole explanation of how I came along. Being of service is
mhm.
something that has been from high school to now. Why I'm here, how I'm trying to make the world a bit better. In whatever way I can. Um, it's a great thing. I'm just delighted to be doing it and to collaborate at times with other people, make new friends that way. I learn things. I'm committed to being a lifelong learner. I'm also willing to learn from my mistakes and turn them into valuable lessons.
Now where did you grow up?
Well, Dad's first career was in the military, Army. And in fact, we buried him last December at Arlington National Cemetery. I mean, he was a very big, towering figure. He fought in World War II in Korea and Vietnam.
Mhm.
And so, fortunately, because of his rank and specialty, we only moved every 4 years. It was very fortunate. You hear a lot of Army stories, Army brat. They're being uprooted every year, if not more often. And that wasn't my case. I went to, for example, high school, all in Baltimore. Spent a lot of years growing up in New Mexico. Beautiful. I love New Mexico. And
Uh,
4 years.
Raton or, Las Cruces?
Yeah, started in Las Cruces. Dad was at White Sands, and
Mhm.
then we went to Albuquerque, and Dad was assigned to Sandia. Um, and but then the next assignment for him was in Germany. He was head translator for the Seventh Army, and that was amazing. 4 years there. I saw a lot of people. I brushed up on my German. Dad had friends, German friends, French friends. So so 4 years of that, and then his last duty assignment was at the Army Intelligence School at Fort Hollywood, right outside of Baltimore. So we moved there, and I went to high school. all 4 years in Baltimore. It was great.
Army intelligence. Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds very James Bond spyish.
Well, there were some things that we could not do when we were in Europe. I could not travel certain places because Dad, of course, had a top secret clearance, and there were things going on that were really fascinating. I'm sure there's so much about that I will never know. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend who there's a house out here called the Chemosphere House. It looks
Hmm,
like a flying saucer.
hmm,
And his father was an engineer at Boeing,
hmm.
but they had Secret Service guards following
Oh,
them around. So
oh,
yeah, he was more than an engineer.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't ever want to know. My friend said he didn't want to know.
yeah, yeah,
They had government protection, and there were places they couldn't go to.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's a fascinating, fascinating world. Yeah, for sure. Wow.
Yeah. So, gosh, you've been everywhere. I've been to White Sands,
Yeah,
off the 54 into Alamogordo.
there we go.
Why do you know that? But so more about your book, Thriving,
Mm, yeah.
because we started a little and went out on other subjects. So,
Well, this book is has won several awards. It's uh, got some amazing testimonials that can easily be looked at. The head of Kaiser Permanente wrote a terrific testimonial. A number of other great people. Also, I'm very honored by them reading the book and saying it'd be my absolute pleasure to write a testimonial. Of course, there's hundreds of reviews too. Reviews are
yeah.
tend to be a lot shorter and just folks rather than luminaries. Uh, but there are a lot of themes that I cover in this book, um, covering things like relationships, how to build deep, enduring relationships. Talking about aging well. Everybody ages, but not everybody ages well. I go into emotions. There's a whole chapter on emotions, the good emotions, the bad emotions, and I end that chapter about dying because a lot of people are very struggle with that. They don't, really know how to deal with that. So I take that on as well. Um, Being a lifelong learner, which we were talking about a minute ago, is another really big theme. Um, and defining success your way
Hmm.
and figure out what is enough. These are all big, big topics in this book that I I'm really delighted. I wrote it. A lot of people have read it, and I'm hope I wrote it because I really wanted to help. I wanted to inspire and encourage people, and I think it's doing that. I think it's doing that.
Well, I just ordered it today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do.
Well, let me know. Let me know what you think,
Oh, I
Michelle.
will. I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Are you planning on writing another book or?
Well, so the audiobook will be coming out. I finished doing the narrating myself.
Hmm.
The sound engineer has it, and I'm just hoping that he'll finish up. He's really good, and so his standards are very high, which I appreciate. It's a lot more important to have it sound good than it is to be timely, or have it done on some schedule that we set up artificially. So hopefully in the next month or so that'll be coming out. But I'm thinking that the next book may be a series of deeper looks into some really juicy topics that occupy a lot of the world we live in. For example, as we were talking about before, what does it take to have a very long term relationship, whether it's a marriage or something else? What's involved with that? So I talk about that in the book, but this would go into a deeper level. What is there about families? Why are some people just so eager to have the summer trip where they can all get together, the extended family and the cousins and all these amazing stories? That was not my experience at all. So I'm very curious about what makes that work, and what are the components. If you didn't grow up in that kind of family, can you create it afterwards? So
Mhm.
it's topics like that, which might be not quite chapters, but maybe chapters. I'd have to do some research. I'd probably have to read some more books to just get acquainted with what's going on. Um, and so it might look like that. I'm not entirely sure. Another friend of mine who's a retired Army colonel, he says we get together once a month for a lunch, and he says, I'm really curious why somebody who might have been a terrific senator, a U.S. senator, and then tried to become president and was a great senator but would have been a horrible president, was not elected. So what is that about? Why is somebody who was a two-star general great, but when they got promoted to three-star, they were terrible? What is that? What goes on? Is this more than just the Peter principle? Is there more to it than that? So that'd be another kind of interesting topic, because a lot of my career has been about managing and leadership, which are two different things. So
One of the things I've seen, um, the influencer lifestyle, the
yeah,
imposter syndrome.
yes, 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 very good, very good. Yeah, I think for me to write well, I have to really understand this from the inside out. So,
Mhm.
imposter syndrome is not one. I mean, I know a lot of people struggle with that. It's not one that I'm personally acquainted with. So, I'm not sure entirely. And similarly, one of the things I say, there's three big deals in the emotional health world. And one is to forgive yourself and others.
Mhm.
A second one is to learn to let go. And being somebody who thought I was in control and I was handling stuff, and it's only with my adult children, my wife saying, you don't control as much as you think you do. You may influence stuff, but you're not controlling it. Wake up call there. But the third one is about self sabotage. And there's a lot of people who self sabotage.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I've seen that when I was in college. I was a math major, and I had office hours tutoring. And within 2 minutes, almost everybody would come in and would say, I'm not good at math. So I had to work with them and get them through. We'd work on problems together. Then I'd give them some tips, and then ultimately they'd solve the problem on their own. They'd say, boy, math is fun. So I converted them. Uh, so I saw it, but I don't experience it personally. So, but that would be another, Michelle. It's a good thing. This imposter syndrome, self sabotaging. These are uh, very challenging for people who put that sweater on in during the day. Yeah,
I've seen, well, I have a friend who's very self-sabotaging, and,
mm,
you just wanna shake them and say, "Stop it."
yeah. Stop, stop.
But,
Yeah.
I was in the market and I saw the imposter syndrome. An
Mm.
influencer screaming, "Do you know who I am?" And me being me said, "Should I call somebody? Do you not know where you are?
Oh, very nice. Oh, terrific.
Don't you
Ah,
know who you are?
oh
Do you
my
need a
God.
5150 hold?"
Yeah, yeah,
And I had the guard walk me out. But,
yeah, yeah.
there's a
Wow.
lot of that. I'm in Southern California, near the studios, and there's a lot of it here.
Mhm, mhm. Well, I think another topic, now that you asked me about it, is how big a role fear plays in our lives. Fear of missing out, fear of not having enough.
Mm-hmm.
This gets in the way. Not defining things for yourself and borrowing something from either our general culture or somebody else that you think is so terrific. um, so you're afraid, and you keep on working, to the bone to get something done, and then you're not satisfied, not happy with it, it doesn't fulfill you. uh, Fear. I think this underlying thing, and because I am relentlessly positive, and I say that you have a choice. All these things about thriving are choices we can make. Choices about how we spend our time and who we spend our time with, how we feel, and certainly our habits. So, but this idea of fear is. I think can be a choice if you really look hard at it. I say be positive, don't be cynical, and certainly don't get into this place of being an angry person. That'll eat you up.
Anger causes cancer.
Yes, it can.
One of the things
Yeah.
um, I work with, well, I know a lot of child actors,
Mm,
um, and because I was a child actor for a short time,
yeah.
but I'm part of that group. We
Mhm.
never saw money we made, our parents took it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I was talking to a friend about it, and he said, well, how do you feel? And I said, I could be angry or disappointed. I choose to be disappointed. There's
Mhm.
nothing I can do about it,
Mm,
but
mm.
being angry is not going to get me anywhere.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
disappointed just means, I've moved on.
Yeah.
And I tell people when they face something like that, um, choose to be disappointed and see it as a learning lesson.
I came across one of the books I just love about emotions is a book written by Chip Conley called Emotional Equations. And being, a mathematician, the idea of having equations and for something applied to emotions really intrigued me. One of his equations is disappointment, he says, equals expectations minus reality.
Ooh,
Isn't that cool?
I like that.
So, you think about all of that. You think about, okay, how are you running a long life, or in a particular situation, are you creating expectations? So you're going to go out with some people, you're going to go out to dinner, you're going to go to a party, you're going to go on vacation, whatever you're doing. Where are you in terms of expectations? So you got to really, you know plan, do your stuff, but then let go, let it happen, just be present. So expectations, and then reality. Reality is what it is. Yeah, but how you see it, how you choose to see something, that becomes your reality about it. Somebody said that, oh, it was so terrible, and I said, well, wow, you kind of made that up. They didn't mean what you heard. That's not what I heard. I know that person pretty well. That's not really at all. So your reality got adjusted. So this whole thing about disappointment is not just plop unmanageable. There are parts of this that we can break down, and who's driving the bus? I say, look, if you're driving the bus, you're deciding how fast to go. You're deciding when to stop and when to turn right, when to turn left, and who to invite on your bus. Important to keep inviting new people on your bus, and who to invite off your bus.
Ah.
So, are you driving your own bus?
The other thing is taking a step back from toxic people.
Wow. So right. So right. And the toxic people may be people you've known for a long time. They may be family members.
Mhm.
Yeah.
True. So anyway, back to the book. Where can we find it? I
Thank
know
you.
where I found it.
Well, I think the easiest thing for people to do, I mean, it's everywhere, but the easiest thing to do is just go to my book website, www.randselig.com, RANDS as in Sam, ELIG.com, and you can read about the book. You can read more about me. You can, see all kinds of testimonials. You can download my favorite quotes by chapter. I've got a lot of quotes in the book. People say they love those quotes and where they're positioned in the book. There's material that I put in there for the audio readers coming up.
Mhm.
One of the things that I'm not reading, but I wanted to make available is in the appendix are 75 paragraphs about books I've read that really impacted me. And so I say, don't just skip over like I do. Don't skip over the appendix. In this case, read those paragraphs. It could be that you'll be totally satisfied, or you may even skip a whole chapter because that's just not kind of where you are right now. But you may even get to say, this paragraph wasn't enough. I want to read the whole book now. So, and you can connect with me as well. You can, just ask me a question about the book. You can give me some feedback. You can invite me to come to your living room or your company meeting or something and do a presentation. Be my pleasure.
Come on down. I'll make
Yeah, yeah,
that.
that'd be cool, Michelle. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're only 5 hours down the five.
so easy, so easy.
True.
And the 5 gets a lot of bad rap, but I got to tell you, I drive it once a year, and it's fascinating. Going
Mhm.
through the Central Valley, and then, it's just, yeah, this is the heart of California right there.
Oh, going over the grapevine?
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, I was doing it twice a week for a while.
wow, that's,
I'll tell you later and tell you why.
yeah.
But, oh yeah, I've seen a lot of California,
Mm,
and,
an amazing state. That's an amazing, amazing state. So, yeah.
oh, yeah, I had friends in from England, and I said, "This is what we're gonna do for the next 2 hours." We went to the beach, drove to the desert, then drove up to Wrightwood to the snow. They're like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh gosh.
Then we went to Vegas.
Yeah, and they never left.
Well, I kinda moved in with them for 2 years.
There we go. Good. Good
But
play. Good.
anyway, thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate being your guest, and you're a great host. And
Thank you.
maybe we'll do it again.
I think we will, and we'll talk soon.
Terrific.
Thank you. Okay, good night.
Good night. Yeah.